Hello, friends. I am Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. How was your weekend? How are things with you? Let me know in the comments. My weekend was different than I had imagined my weekend was going to go. Um, my my puppy, he's not a puppy. He's 11. My dog DJ has been really not himself lately. And so I called the vet Saturday morning and they couldn't see him. So I took him to the emergency vet. Uh, and that was 4 hour chunk out of my Saturday. He's okay. I think he just has a GI infection. So he's got some antibiotics and some probiotics. And I have to cook for him, chicken and rice kind of stuff. He'll be fine. But he was definitely not himself. And it was really concerning us. And his hind end was getting super red, which we've had issues with his glands before, getting abscessed. So, being cautious parents, we decided to take him. Well, I took him, which kind of threw my whole Saturday off. I had planned on getting a bunch of stuff done. Last week, to be perfectly honest, the past 7 days, 8 days, I've had not a great mental time. I've been very out of it since last weekend. My brain hasn't wanted to work. I've been like in that kind of weird foggy headspace of feeling like I want to accomplish something but not knowing what that something is, and trying to start things and not even having energy to do that. So I've just been really lost, having a very hard time working, just struggling through everything. So the plan was to spend time in here this weekend and just get stuff done. We've been playing pickleball most nights, but on nights that we haven't been playing or during any other free time, Malia's been playing Diablo 4 with her brother and her friends. And I have no interest in Diablo 4, like at all. They've tried to get me to play, but Torchlight ruined Diablo for me. Torchlight is just a vastly superior game, and I'm not interested in playing Diablo at all. So they've been playing, and I've been like, cool, I'll go get stuff done. And so the plan was to spend a whole bunch of time in here. I did end up spending a decent amount of time in here yesterday. But Saturday, I came down here to work on the bench. I started reinforcing all the joints with dowels. I used thickened epoxy. This is Total Boat Thixo, which a lot of people on YouTube rate very highly. I used thickened epoxy to adhere the top stretchers, more or less, not necessarily to be the mechanical bond. I used it to make a bed for those to sit in. There was too many huge gaps that were just going to be a problem, so I thought using thickened epoxy, it'll stay in there, it'll create a positive registration for those pieces, and then I'll reinforce them later. Funny thing enough, this actually says on here, ideal for bonding, uses an adhesive, sandable, blah, blah, blah. Not appropriate as a gap filler. But then it says not a ½ inch of material thickness. So it's not really intended to be the thing that holds this together. I ended up doweling all the joints, and the dowels should provide some strength. Ultimately, I think the bench, because I designed it incorrectly, I got really excited about the joinery. I got really excited about having the inset rails so that I can clamp, like having this clamping. I got excited about all of that, and I didn't really think about what I was doing. And so I ended up creating a bench that is not structurally well built. But eventually I'm going to build a cabinet for drawers so it'll stiffen it. And ultimately the top turned out beautiful. I'm really, really happy with the top. It's a torsion box. It's got plastic, some sort of weird plastic that Malia's dad gave me from a crate for the top that's really nice and slick and not sticky. And ultimately, the bench doesn't really need to hold up that well. The top does. And so I think it's going to be perfectly fine. But I ended up so that was my plan on Saturday. I ended up coming down here and I glued it and then had to wait. So I ended up making I got tired of my clamp racks. I already threw it away, but I had a clamp rack where the clamps would kind of, the rack was like this and the clamps would hang on it. Well, these Bessie clamps, these ones are fine. Like this particular, all of my 6" and 12" are fine, but all of my 36" Bessie clamps, these feet thing will not stay on them. If you just so much as bump them, they'll fall right off. And so every time I was hanging them up, these would fall off. It was really frustrating. So I tore that thing down, and I batched out a bunch of this style. I built these a while ago. I really love them, so I batched out a bunch of these, and I rehung all of my clamps. I have one extra, which I guess means I need to get more clamps. I obviously don't have enough clamps up here. I need more. I had to buy a pipe clamp. That was 2 weeks ago. I think you already knew about that. And then I did the dog thing, and I was hoping to play some board games this weekend. Didn't get to do that. So it was just a weird weekend. Like yesterday, I spent probably 4 hours in total down here finishing up the bit. Well, it's not finished, obviously. I'm still standing here. There's not much left to do. I need to cut all the dowels flush. I need to sand all the glue and scrape all the glue off. I need to put on the rolling feet. They're over there. I need to attach the top, which I have Z-clips for that. And then I need to build the slide out like plan holder / tool holder. It's going to be like a little drawer slide out kind of thing. And then it's done. It's done for now, and then this one can go away. So I'm really close. I did get to do some work, but today feels a lot better. I don't feel as foggy today as I have. I don't feel as lost and confused, and I don't feel like I have a bunch of, as weird as this is to say, I don't feel like I have a bunch of energy with no outlet. I feel lethargic. I feel like my normal self. I guess that's what I mean. I think those periods when, like last week was one of those periods where I got to do the thing, but I had no thing to do. Like I work, sure. I have this project to do, which I haven't really talked about yet. This is a woodcut project. I need to transfer this art to this block. This is something for a trip that I'm taking this fall. We'll talk about that when it gets closer. I have some board game design that's been kicking around up here, but I don't really have a current thing. Like, this is my thing. I'm going to do this. And so I get these moments in time. And for me, it was a week where my brain is like, let's do it all. And there's like, I'm just going to play video games because I don't really know what to do. I don't really have a direction. And so I think coming down here and spending a whole bunch of time being physical, while it hurts, my back is still super duper sore. I haven't fully recovered, and I hopefully soonish. It was kind of a reset. It was kind of like a battery reset. Like, let's go downstairs and just do something manual, which always seems to be a good way to reset. So hopefully this week is positive. Next week we are hosting the technology conference at work, so I will be off doing a lot of that, and that'll be not necessarily a break from work, but for me that kind of is like going to a convention, even though it's a conference. Going to a conference, and it's a break from the normal, and I think that also helps me reset, especially when it comes to work type stuff. But I just keep pushing forward, doing what I'm doing. What'd you do this weekend? Anything exciting? Did you play any new games? I just got God of War, the card game, in the mail today. It's Malia's favorite video game franchise, like, by far. And so I saw it pop up on somebody was calling their collection and said you pay for shipping, and I was like, I'll take that. Like, we'll try it for sure. So we'll see what happens. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is reprobate. It is a noun meaning a person who routinely commits illegal, immoral, and unethical acts without hesitation or remorse. One reason that Anthony continues to be a reprobate is because his father, as well as his social contacts, keep bailing him out of jail. Reprobate. R-E-P-R-O-B-A-T-E. Is that not, is so enablism? I mean, is that nothing new? Right? If you're an enabler, is that being helpful?